We'll call the meeting to order, beginning with the termination of the quorum. Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Chair, we do have a quorum. All members are present.
Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you all for being here this evening. The first item I want to mention is how we're going to handle the Truth in Taxation hearing. By law, that meeting cannot happen before 6 o'clock, and as we're starting at 5:30, we can't have it at the beginning of our agenda, which is what we've done in the past, but our meetings are earlier this year than in the past. So because of that, what we're going to do is go ahead with our meeting as usual. We'll adjourn at shortly after 6 with wherever we are in the agenda. Do the Truth in Taxation hearing for anybody who might want to tune in at that time to see it, and then reconvene back into our regular meeting after that part of the meeting is done. So to let you know how that's going to happen. So with that, we'll move on to our next item, which is the approval of the actual agenda as shown. I don't think I've had any corrections to it, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as shown.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That brings us to recognition and awards, for which there aren't any this evening, which brings us to community comment. This is time for any members of the community to step forward and address the board. There's a limit of 3 minutes per speaker and 15 minutes per topic. I recognize everyone in the room, so I think we're in the clear, just in case. Okay, we'll move along with the agenda then. And that brings us to our consent agenda. Unless I'm wrong, my name is on the consent agenda. Is that true? Right. So I would request that get removed so that I can vote on the rest of the consent agenda. So that item will be removed. Are there any, the consent agenda is an item that is approved with one motion. It is not a debatable item, but any items can be removed upon board request. Are there any other requests? Okay, so we will remove the approval, it should be here someplace, of Jason Engbrecht as the robotics coach. That's on, should be on page, where is it? There we go. Yeah, page 30 of the agenda for anybody who's interested in that. Okay, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. There's no discussion. Mr. Clerk, would you please do a roll call?
Tom.
Aye.
Jason.
Aye.
Yvette.
Aye.
Myself, aye. Jerry.
Aye.
Andrea.
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, it passes 7-0.
Thank you very much. And so, having removed my appointment as the head robotics coach, I'll entertain a motion to approve that hiring.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Let's go ahead and do a roll call so I can abstain, Mr. Clerk.
Oh, okay.
Is there any further discussion?
No
I'm sorry.
discussion.
Any discussion on this item? I didn't mean to cut off discussion. Mr. Clerk, if you please do a roll call.
Yes. Tom.
Aye.
Jason.
Abstain.
Yvette.
Aye.
Myself, aye. Jerry.
Aye.
Andrea.
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
It passes 6-0, 1 abstention.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk.
No discussion.
Cut off discussion.
Let's move along.
Didn't he?
He did, didn't he?
I did. We could go back.
I don't think there's any.
I'll let you're responsible for finding my replacement. Okay, this brings us then to item 6, curriculum. Curriculum committee update without Colleen here this evening. I'll give the update on that. There were really 3 items that were discussed at our meeting, 2 quick ones and a longer discussion. So the 2 quick ones were a presentation from the business faculty at the high school talking about what they call a business academy. It's a track for students that they can choose to sign up for at the high school in order to achieve further courses in the business world, leading to a potential internship in their last year. And so there was a nice discussion about that. That's one I came in on late on, so I don't have too much information on that one. It was followed by Gifted and Talented, talked about some field trips that they're wanting to do, and we're looking for approval for some funding. It's a very small amount of money. It's a few $100, $600 I think total. So we talked about that, and we received a recommendation from the curriculum committee that that would be a good thing. The vast majority of the discussion was on the new technology, the new iPads in the district. I thought there was really good and lively discussion. We had some results from our technology directors in the district. They'd done a survey, and about half the staff responded. Students responded as well. Overwhelmingly, it looked like there was satisfaction with the iPads coming in. I think that the numbers were sort of, if you went satisfied to very satisfied, was about 85% of the people, with 15% showing some level of dissatisfaction in that. Having said that, our discussion was mostly on the one area that I think most everybody who's been working with them agreed was the challenge, which was the controlling of apps and social media on the iPads. It was a long discussion. It's something when we were done that we'll bring to the board at a future meeting, I think, as well, so that we can have a longer discussion of it. It's not clear there's any obvious paths forward to address the concerns. There are trade-offs any path that you go down. There's no easy way to lock everything down but still have the flexibility you want to address these things. No matter what lockdown you do, there's always some way around it for those who are interested in doing so. So there's lots of ways around any lockdown that you do. So it's not obvious there's a path going forward, which is not to say that people didn't think that nothing should be done because of that, but it's just not clear exactly what path going forward we should, or how soon we should look to moving a path, and how much we should try to ride out where we are. But there were some serious frustrations related to that. You know, particularly Angie at the middle school finds herself spending an enormous amount of her time, half her time now, dealing with concerns related to iPads, which was nobody's feeling in the room is what she should be spending her time on. And so these were real frustrations, balanced out by a lot of positive things going on. But they were real frustrations, and we sort of left that meeting convinced that we need to have really further discussion on where to go. So there will be a future board. I would recommend, as I won't be scheduling meetings in the future, I would recommend that we'll have a school board work session where the same critical folks come in and speak with the board and give us some sense of what the options are available for moving forward, and what the pros and cons of those are, and go from there. So,
Mr. Chair,
yeah.
I apologize, I missed that meeting, but with regards to Angie's, I think you said maybe frustrations and 50% of her time dealing with concerns, are those concerns from the staff with regards to, you know, kids, or concerns from parents, or concerns from students, all the above?
I would say that, so most of hers are sort of internally driven. You know, the policies to lock down iPads with any failing grade led to a lot of lockdowns of iPads. And so that plus parent requests plus teacher requests for that have made it a big administrative job to keep track of iPads that are or are not locked down. They have to be done individually. There's no easy way to do that universally. And so I didn't get a sense that it was enormous amounts of parents coming to her and saying that, but that certainly happened.
Yeah.
I just don't know that that's the majority of it. I think the majority of it is internally driven from policies that they put in place, and going from there. But I think she's probably feeling, my sense was across the district, she's probably feeling the biggest brunt of the negative impacts that we have.
The high school does not have that policy.
Right, yeah.
So
And Lyle talked about that. Lyle was at that meeting too and talked about their decision to sort of ride it out at this point and see where they are and what they want to do with it. And middle school has gone a different route, and I think there again are pros and cons to both of those routes. So we'll have further discussion on that, but it was a really important discussion, I think, to be had. There were some serious concerns balanced with a lot of positive things going on, and we'll talk more as a board about what that future will be. Okay, so that is, unless there's further questions, that's the curriculum committee update. There's no technology update this evening, which brings us to policy. Is there a policy committee report this evening?
You go ahead.
You want me?
Yeah,
Okay.
go right ahead.
You know, the only thing that really sticks out in my head to bring forth was the technology acceptability use policy. Things like Facebook and Twitter, we're probably all on that, and meeting laws, and if we're all on liking something on Twitter, does it apply? And it doesn't really apply to social media in that aspect. If there's any private messaging going on, it would be treated like an email. So then we would have to adhere to the laws, you know, like Facebook private message. And I don't even know if you can do that on Twitter, because I don't do Twitter. But, but so it's just good to know that we can all be on Facebook and looking at things and liking them, or Twitter, but
Without violating.
without violating. But if you private message, that's where you need to be careful how many people you're including in those things. And but otherwise, everything else was pretty cut and dry.
It was all legislative changes
Yeah.
for the most part.
Nothing that we really have a lot of say in.
Is that a new, that technology acceptable use, is that a new policy for us? Or is
No,
that something
we've had it, and it was just a revision based on some of the recommendations that we got from MSBA.
All right. Any further questions on that update? All right, and so we have consider approval of the 2016 policy committee schedule. Is this, I noticed this as I was looking at the agenda this afternoon more closely. Is there a reason why we're, and I have no problem with doing it, but it's new that we're approving these committee schedules, I think, at this meeting is my, I don't remember doing this until the January meeting.
I added the policy because the finance had been added. So I thought, well, if they do it, then we should do it for the public.
And I'm okay with doing it this evening, I have no problem with that, it just was different, and I was wondering if there was a reason for the difference, or if it just sort of occurred.
It's kind of nice to have it out there because it is part of the, you know, when the board approves that calendar schedule, then, and we post it, then we kind of stay in compliance of the open meeting law again. So it's actually nice to do that.
Yeah, okay, all right, thank you. So we have, in your packet, you have the, I'm looking for it in mine, the policy committee schedule in front of you. I'll entertain a motion to approve that committee schedule.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on that item? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Then we have a number of policies that are in front of us this evening for first reading. They are policy 205, open meetings and closed meetings, 206, public participation in school board meetings, complaints about persons at school board meetings and data privacy considerations, 208, development, adoption, and implementation of policies, and 524, technology acceptable use policy. Are there any questions or comments on these policies at this time? I think these are important readings for all of us on the board to remind ourselves. Most of these policies are about how we perform our duties, and so they're good for all of us to be familiar with. Okay, hearing no questions for anybody who might be watching this on television, those policies are in front of us this evening for a first reading. Policies, before they can be adopted by the board, need to come to us for a first reading, and then they can come back at the following month's meeting for a second reading to gain approval. So these policies will come back to the school board at the next board meeting in order to be approved. So if there's any concerns about any of those policies or questions, they can be asked during the next month. That brings us to item 7D, consider approval of the following policies for second reading. So these are policies we saw at our last month's board meeting. And they're back in front of us this evening for approval. They are policies 501, weapons policy, policy 509, enrollment of non-resident students, and policy 526, hazing prohibition. Unless there's an objection, I would be willing to entertain a motion for all three of these policies and then open the floor to discussion on any of them. I'll entertain a motion to approve all three policies.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Are there any questions on any of these policies in front of us this evening? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. With the adoption of those policies, we need to rescind previous policies that were in place. That is policy 501, weapons policy, adopted 12/18/2008. Policy 509, enrollment of non-resident students, adopted 7/20/2015. And policy 526, hazing prohibition, adopted 11/21/11. I'll entertain a motion to approve the rescission of these policies.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on these items? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. This brings us to item 8, finance. Beginning with a finance committee report. Madam Treasurer, any comments you'd like to make before we launch into items?
No, I think the majority of the meeting was spent on the presentation that we're about to see tonight on the Truth and Taxation report. And the committee approved the Pepsi beverage contract as it was presented.
There is, just so you know, there is a couple changes in the Pepsi contract that I just found out about, so Colleen will tell us what those are for approval, if you have any questions.
All right, well, that brings us to the Pepsi beverage contract. Item 7B1. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Do you want to note
You
some
wanna know the
changes
changes
in it,
first?
Colleen?
Yep.
I didn't know
Yes,
if you
please.
wanted to hear about the changes or not. Maybe you don't care,
We're
really.
just moving right along.
Sorry. They're very small. On the first page, under 5.1, it talks about the supply, and in there it refers to all outside organizations being required to use Pepsi products. And I don't think we're doing that now. A couple of these, I think, are holdovers from contracts from a long time ago. So Pepsi agreed to take that out. In other words, if the Wrestling Association rents the high school to do their wrestling tournament on a weekend, this contract would require them to use Pepsi products from us through Pepsi. So we're taking that out. Really, it's only school-sponsored events so that we don't have everybody who's renting our facilities being required to use Pepsi products. Okay, so that's one change. The other change is under number 6. And again, it's not something we're currently doing. Right in that paragraph, they talk about the school shall be responsible for operating and loading all vending machines. We don't do that. Pepsi does that. So I've asked them to take that out, and they don't have a problem with that either. So just a couple minor things that are in our favor.
Those changes, I would move to approve the contract.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, I do have a couple of questions. It specifies only the Faribault High School, so all other buildings are exempt from this?
Well, we don't really have any vending machines anywhere else, just in the high school.
Just in the high school, nothing
Yep.
in the middle school? or
Nope.
Even in the faculty lounges?
Faculty, but that's not, we do
covered.
have them in the faculty lounges, yep.
But this is not covering those vending machines?
Actually, it does, well, yeah, it does cover those vending machines too, so I can have them change that too, so
Okay,
it's
that's
Faribault
fine.
Public Schools. I think in the, it maybe contradicts itself, because in item 2, it says school premises shall be defined to include everything for independent school district
Okay,
656, so.
The other one, kind of a two-part question. What revenue does this generate for the district, and what do we do with that? Does it go into the general fund?
Yes, it goes into the general fund. It isn't much anymore because, you know, kids just don't buy much as much as they used to. Everything that's in the staff lounges goes to staff, so they're paying for that out of their, I mean, they get that, all that money to do with what they want.
I think that Lyle's used it for the link crew too.
Right, the only really moneymaker are the machines at the high school, and they only bring in about $7,000 a year, so it's not a lot of money. And he usually uses that for the Respect Retreat or Link Crew or those kinds of things.
Okay,
So he directs it back to kids.
great, good, that's good, thank you.
Yeah.
Any further questions? All right, I believe we have a motion and a second. If there's no further questions, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And that brings us to approval of the Finance Committee meeting dates. You have them in front of you in the agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And that brings us to the final 2015 payable 2016 levy certification.
Which we'll have to postpone. I
That
guess we could
is
have changed
something
that
we
on
should
the
do
agenda.
after so I think to do this properly, we need to table that motion. So I'll entertain a motion to table item 8B3, and we can put it at the beginning, well, why don't we put it at the end of other matters?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So item 8B3 will take place at the end of other matters. Okay? And so that brings us to item 8C, budget items. We have an enrollment report. There were some corrections to that number. It sounded like there were some typos that got entered and were found and corrected that changed the enrollments a bit. But the corrected numbers are in front of you. You can see enrollments have gone down a little bit from November to December. But I don't know that that's unusual at this time of year at all. We also have our financial report for this time of year. I don't know if there's any questions on that. Given that we're mid-year, we'll go on to item 8C3. We have added some things to the budget, and we wanted to give an update to the board on the items that we have approved, those that have been ongoing expenses, and those that we approved one time, some of which might be approved. We'll come back to the board to look at for further approval for the future. And so you can see those items on your agenda to give you a sense of what we've added to the budget so far this year. That brings us then to the construction report. I don't know, Todd, if you want to say anything about the construction report?
Yeah, really, there's not much to say. There's been no change orders this month, which is a good thing. So, again, with the revised budget, we are right on track. So that's good. And the project, they've got the roofs on them. They're not complete, but now they can work underneath there, so they can do some of the stuff on the inside. So it's moving right along. We've had some pretty good weather, which has really helped us a lot.
All right, thank you very much.
Todd, are those both supposed to be completed about the same time, or is one kind of ahead of the other? Or?
No, it's both supposed to be done by May 31st.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
That then brings us to item 8C5, gifts and donations, of which there are none this evening. And so we move on to item 9, other committee reports, starting with the insurance committee, which it says here, Colleen and Chad are gonna tell us about it.
I'll defer to Colleen.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to chime in here. The insurance committee met on December 3rd, and we usually meet 2 to 3 times a year. This is the time of year when we meet to begin the initial look at our potential renewal, because we've got most of the claims data in. There's a look-back period of about 24 months, and we have them all in except for 1 month. So at this point, we reviewed that claims utilization. We're actually doing very well. In the first period, we're running pretty close to, I think it was 93% use of premium. The second period, it was about 76%, so we're running very well as far as usage is concerned. So that could mean, if we stay in the pool, that could mean anywhere from a 0 to maybe a 3% increase on insurance. We put 5 in all our settlements, so we're probably sitting really well with that calculation. We'll reap some savings there. We also talked about looking at the renewal and the process for that. And our consultant suggested that this might be a good year to look at self-insurance. That's something that is difficult to go into because you do have to set aside a reserve, which means we'd have to take money out of our general fund, probably $1 million to $1.5 million, and set it aside to fund insurance. If we don't get it quite right on the self-funding model, we end up using more than we collect in premiums. But going into this with good experience like that, this might be a year to look at it. We would just have to be very comfortable with taking that risk going forward. The other big hurdle is that the bargaining units all have to agree to it. So, or at least the one with the majority of the teacher or the majority of the staff that use the insurance. So we'd have to work through our committee on that, but it's certainly something worth looking at this point. We also talked about the Cadillac tax. That's part of the Affordable Care Act, and one of our insurance plans will get us there in probably 2017 or 18. So we're going to have some work to do on getting rid of that plan. It's very popular with a lot of our staff. It's called our First Dollar Plan. Has some very high coverage amounts, but it's a very expensive plan, and we'll hit that ceiling. Right now, the ceiling is $10,200 on a single premium and $27,500 on a family premium. So once you exceed that, then you pay a 40% tax on every single policy or premium above that. So potentially it could cost us between $60,000 and $80,000 to keep that plan. So I don't think we want to do that. We want to try and work our way out of that. We also talked briefly about the new reporting forms that are part of the Affordable Care Act. So employees will be receiving what's called a 1094 or a 1095. We now have to report health insurance for all our employees because that'll be part of what's required for everyone to submit with their income taxes. So we'll meet again in probably February or March whenever we start getting renewal data. Anything else, Chad?
No.
That was it.
All right, any other questions for Colleen or Chad? All right, hearing none, it's still not 6 o'clock. So we are going to move, there is no wellness committee this evening, so we're going to go ahead and have Anne Marie do her community ed.
There is a wellness.
It doesn't say on my agenda there's a wellness. Would that be Anne Marie anyway?
Yeah.
All right, so.
Richard, would you like to report out on the wellness meeting last time?
No, not
I
really,
just
no.
didn't, yeah, that's, I knew it.
You volunteered.
I knew it, that's why I didn't have a report. We really didn't do anything new, we just moved the idea and concept of 55021 forward, so we're continuing that discussion. We did see a Pinterest page that is full of really cool, I don't know if you all know about Pinterest, I really don't very much myself, but all these boards on yoga and different healthy recipes and all sorts of stuff that we'll end up sharing with staff. So to just push more information out on wellness. That's the only thing I can think of.
And join pickleball.
Let's not talk about that.
Well, maybe this is having an impact on our
That's good timing.
Well, I don't know, pickleball is. Oh,
How
I'm
many
sorry.
pickleball
I'm
injuries?
Here, aren't I?
No, I meant the wellness. Oh, the 550.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I was already
I'm hoping your
warmed
injury
up.
doesn't raise to that level, that it's affecting our premiums.
6 of 6 kids. I'm used to getting ridiculed, so that's good. But community ed, should I?
Please
can I? Okay,
do
thank you
move
very
on to
much.
community ed, yeah.
Okay. Just a couple of things. Fun things. Adult education is now offering parapro training and testing. So the paraprofessionals in our district and those who want to join our district have to take a test called the parapro, and lots of people have a really hard time with at least the math portion, if not some other portions within that assessment. So with human resources and adult ed, we decided to pair up and start offering both training to prep people for that and for the test. So we've already had some successful passers of that test, so we're just hoping that continues, and every early release will offer the test, and Saturdays is the training. So it's very,
What is this
very
test
cool.
for again?
It's the paraprofessionals, you know, those who work for special ed, paras, and all of those. So
Substitute, is that?
a sub-para,
We have a
Back-
we have paras in Kids World, there's paraprofessionals.
So if a person takes a test and they're a paraprofessional?
No, when NCLB was defined, part of that was hiring paras, and they wanted the paras to be highly qualified, which meant that they either were in college or they went through this para-pro test, so that they get people who come into the school system to teach that are quote-unquote highly qualified. So their definition of highly qualified would be if you pass this test, then you're highly qualified, which would make you eligible to be a para. If you went to college or you had some sort of college background, then you were automatically highly qualified. So that helps us, because those avenues, they would have to go to Rochester or a different site and actually pay money out of their pocket to take these tests, which made it pretty difficult for Nicole, going through some of those hires, to find paras who are highly qualified to come and work for us. So this will help that transition.
And we're always short paras,
We are
subs,
always
Yes.
short paras.
so
Yeah.
that's great.
Take the
Yeah.
test, okay.
That was a great background, wasn't it? I didn't know
Now,
all that about Nickel
ESSA
being-
may be different. I don't know
Okay.
how that's affecting this new high
Right.
quality, so we'll see.
Mhm.
So you're already going
What's
to the
that?
ESSA.
ESSA,
All right.
yep, our new, from NCLB to ECSE,
ESEA?
ESEA, thanks, now to ESSA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Is there any information about where that test originated, or how?
The
That's a
parapro?
good question.
How it came to be?
It was just formed by the state.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, MDE created a kind of a dummy template for that,
Yeah.
so they, yeah.
It's probably similar to the praxis, wouldn't it be, for teachers, but it's just the para
Mhm.
for the,
Yeah. You used to have
Parapro for
to go
paras.
through 8 different characteristics of training in addition to the parapro test. Now they just changed it to course.
So that
And
was
is it-
something from the Minnesota Department of Education?
That's where it originated from, yeah. Yeah, to be in compliance with NCLB. And it was,
I thought we buried that.
and also, it was,
I don't think we
it was never meant to be, I don't know how deep you wanna get into this, but it was
Oh,
never meant
yeah,
to be
let's
for
keep
all
going.
pairs or special ed pairs. It was meant to only be for title pairs.
Mm-hmm.
And so, people automatically assumed that it was going to eventually go towards special ed pairs, but it was never required to be a HQ thing for special ed pairs or pairs. It was only for title pairs. But we've, in this district, asked to be highly qualified. So
I didn't even know how great of a deal this was for people, so that's
Yeah,
good.
it
That's
is.
really good. Okay,
it's been a headache.
excellent. Okay, just a couple of other things that are just really good to know. Our Kids World coordinator has been working with MSAD, so the Minnesota State Academy for the Deaf, working to provide deaf and hard of hearing students with quality after-school programming. So there's just been a surge in local kids accessing MSAD. So for those students that need daycare, we provide that at the end, earlier end of the day. So we will be working with them to get those who can do ASL, I always say that wrong, ASL, American Sign Language, with the kids that need it. So that's kind of a fun partnership. Just in terms of service learning, I always like to give a update on that new position, and Brian continues to work tirelessly with the community. He's working with Jenny O, Joanne Fabrics, KNG, Foldcraft, Viracon, St. Lucas, Truth Heritage House, Affinity Credit Union, and really doing all of that because he wants to get more information from all of those employers and sites to figure out how to talk to youth about careers and opportunities. So really some great work going on there. And then I just want to read one more thing that he's been doing. Two more things. One, he continues to be a guest speaker with the AVID students. So he goes in and talks about careers all the time at the different grade levels. So that's been excellent. So he's a regular guest speaker. And he has created an opportunity for the Lincoln Elementary Pride Council to visit the Heritage House. So they will do that once a month to talk to the residents. So just more good news from community ed and service learning and all that. So that's it. Okay.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. All right, so by my clock, it's now 6:05. And so we can move on to we can adjourn this meeting. Do I need a motion, do you suppose, to do so?
Yeah, probably, just to.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn into the, what's the name of it? The Truth and Taxation hearing, and we'll reconvene after that. So I'll entertain a motion to do so.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So we'll now open the Truth and Taxation hearing with Colleen.
Okay, thank you. We have a presentation here that we're going to go over tonight, but this is the required Truth and Taxation hearing, and we are talking only about school district taxes. As you may have noticed on your tax statement, you pay taxes to the city and the county and the school district, maybe townships, special taxing jurisdictions. But tonight we are addressing only the school district taxes. So what we'll talk about is our levy, 2015 for taxes payable in 2016. We will also we're required to talk about the budget for 2015-16, and that will be the adopted budget, the one that you all approved last June, then an opportunity for questions. So first of all, we levy in 3 funds, in the general fund, the community service fund, and the debt service fund. The final levy does need to be certified by the school board by December 28th, so we will ask you to approve that tonight if you're so inclined, and then we don't have to worry about it. And then just a reminder that the 2015 payable 2016 levy is revenue for the 16-17 school year. So the taxes that we're all paying in calendar 2016 really don't become revenue for the district until next school year. So we're looking a whole year ahead now at this revenue stream, and we really don't have any idea what our expenses are yet, but that's just the way it works. Okay, so let's look at each fund. In the general fund, last year's levy, 2014 payable 2015, was $5.2 million. This year, the levy in the same fund is about just under $6 million, 5.9, and that's an increase of about $655,000. And what I like to do is highlight the areas that there are decreases and increases, because there are about 20 different levy categories in the general fund. So we have 2 big areas where we saw decreases. One was in the health and safety area. And if you remember, if you've been on the board for a few years, you remember me talking about an error that was made many years ago in the health and safety area by the Department of Education. And we had a huge indoor air quality project that we had to catch up on for a levy because it didn't get on our levy certification due to some changeover at the Department of Ed. So last year was the last of 3 years of catching up on that. So this year that levy has gone down because that is now off. Our deferred maintenance also dropped by about $271,000, and this is because that revenue is now something new called long-term facilities maintenance revenue. So if you look at the increases, the long-term facilities maintenance revenue is up by $800,000, and part of that is due to the decrease, offset by the decrease in the deferred maintenance. But this is the new revenue that is being phased in over 3 years. We've talked about that, to be used for deferred maintenance items related to our capital facilities. Our referendum went up slightly, about $277,000, and that's due to a couple different factors. We had an increase in the projected number of students, and then we also have an inflationary amount factored into our per pupil amount. So those are 2 of the factors that caused that increase. And then our achievement and integration levy went up by about $88,000. And that's calculated by the Department of Ed based on, again, students that are in our district, and because our pupil unit numbers went up, we have a little bit more money there to spend also. In the community service fund, This levy stays pretty stable from year to year. The levy last year was about $350,000, and for next year it's about $354,000. That's an increase of about $5,000. There was a small decrease in early childhood of about $1,300, and then an increase in school-age care of about $6,300. And if you have any questions as I'm going through this, just stop me and ask. The last fund we levy in is the debt service fund, and last year that levy was about $2.6 million. This year it's just under $2.5 million. That's a decrease of about $125,000. A couple areas there that have affected that levy. We had a change in our reduction for debt excess. This fund tends to build over time because you're required to levy 5% more than what your bond payments are, in case people default on their taxes to the point where you don't have enough money to pay your mortgage payments, basically. So as that builds up in excess, you're required to reduce that back down. And then our debt service payments are down by about $300,000. So this levy is based on our debt service payment schedules, and so it will fluctuate from year to year. On the next slide, I'm just showing you that we only have 2 bond issues remaining to be paid off. The first one is the alt facilities bonds for health and safety projects. That final payment will be in about 4 years, 12/1 of 2019. And then school building bonds for the deferred maintenance projects, that will be paid off in February of 2024. So again, the total of all our levies for the 16 taxes is $8,779,000. That's an increase of about $536,000 or 6.51%. Now that doesn't mean that your taxes are going to go up by 6.51% because you have to factor in the city taxes, the county taxes, and your market value. So it all plays into what it will do on your individual taxes. Okay, any questions on the levy certification?
So just to reiterate so that I know my understanding, so of all of the levies going on, the biggest change that struck me was the increase from the long-term facilities maintenance. That was, just so that I'm understanding, that was the change that the state recently made to give more funding to that, to sort of, a few things were going on there, but the biggest one for us and why that's going up is to bring us into alignment with what some of the larger districts were making.
Correct.
So many of the smaller districts like ours were not getting the same amounts per square foot as other districts.
Correct.
And so
yep.
over the course, so we can expect increases for a couple of years.
Yes.
On that.
Yes. I think the biggest increase, right,
right,
the biggest increase will be this year because they're phasing it in over 3 years and the first part of it is mostly levy. Next year and the third year, there'll be some state aid to kick in.
Okay.
So we'll eventually get to about 1.6 million, but the tax impact should be less and less going forward because then more state aid will kick in.
Thank you, Colleen.
Yep. Any other questions on the levy piece? Okay. Then we'll move to the budget, and really this is just a review of what you were presented in June. So all I've got here are beginning fund balances, revenues, expenditures, and an ending fund balance. And these beginning fund balances have not been updated for the audit report. The timing of receiving the report and putting this together just didn't quite coincide. But this is the projected numbers from last spring. So in the general fund, we're projected to end at about 9.9 million, just a little bit under. And a lot of that is one-time spending that we're doing this year. You saw a lot of that in the additions, but also we did invest money in band equipment and facilities and some of those one-time costs this year, which is a good use of fund balance. The food service fund, again, a very stable fund that is projected to end pretty much the same, 435,000. The community service fund is projected to increase to about 621,000. They're doing some very good work in that fund and building up some good reserves there. The building construction fund represents the money that we had left on June 30th to spend on our 2 building projects, the high school addition and the middle school addition. And that will all be spent by the end of this year.
Colleen, I'm sorry, can you go back to the community service fund?
Sure.
What is there a state limit on how big that fund can get, or, you know, in terms of as a balance or percentage of your revenues type of thing? Or
there used to be. in certain ones. Remember, there's about 5 components in the Community Service Fund: early childhood, family education, adult basic ed, community service. Can't think of the other 2. There used to be, but there isn't anymore.
So it can go to whatever number.
It's not intended to, it could, but that would not be, it's considered a service fund, just like food service. It's supposed to operate on close to a break even. Of course, you want to have some fund balance so you can initiate some new programs, but that's not a fund that should go sky high, and I would believe that's probably Anne Marie's philosophy. It's supposed to be, fees are supposed to pay for programming.
Yeah. We're still not paying for any custodial services out in there. Are we allocating anything out in there yet?
Are we billing for custodians
There you
for
go.
each? For adult ed, we are,
Adult
we're
ed.
not, okay, we are.
Thank
And I
you.
believe McKinley pays for theirs too.
So
Yeah.
2 of them.
Yep.
Thank you.
Do you know, are we doing that for food service? The-
Food service, we're doing that for also.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, then the debt service fund, you can see there that balance will be down to about 800,000, a very comfortable balance going forward with our bond payment schedule. And then the last fund is the trust fund. We're solely working out of this. Most of the trust money that is generated for students for scholarships really goes to the Falcon Scholarship Fund now and doesn't go to the school district. We have that outside entity set up to take care of those. Okay, any questions on those budget numbers? And just a couple of pie charts to show you the expenditures by fund. And you can see there that the general fund is by far the largest fund. 83% of what we spend our money on is in the general fund, which makes sense because that's where we're running the day-to-day operations of the school district. So if we take a closer look at the general fund and look at the revenues within the general fund, you can see there that it's divided down between the property taxes, other local revenue, state sources, and federal sources. And 80% of what we get for revenue in the general fund comes from the state, so we're highly dependent on what the legislature does and state funding. The levy that we're talking about paying in 2016 represents about 11% of our revenue. And then if we look at the expenditures in the general fund, we can see that if we break it down between salaries and benefits, purchased services, supplies and materials, capital expenditures, and other costs, about 77% of what we spend is salaries and benefits. And again, that makes sense. We need staff to educate our students. And that's pretty typical for most districts, somewhere between 75 and 80%. Okay, then the last graph is a graph showing you the fund balances over the years. And the blue represents our actual fund balance, with the exception of 2016. That's a projected number. The yellow represents our fund balance policy minimum, which is 9.5%. And then the purple represents the auditor recommendation, which is generally right around 15%. So you can see we're doing quite well with our fund balance percentage. Even with our spend down in 16, we'll still be very close to the auditor recommendation and well above our fund balance policy. So I think we've made, and you've made, some good decisions about how to use that fund balance. Okay, any questions? All right, that's all we need to do for the hearing.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Colleen. Okay, so we will then reconvene into our regular board meeting. I assume we don't need a motion for that.
Just open it up again.
Yeah, so I'll just open it here. This helps make it official. So we'll reconvene back to our regular board meeting and move on. We were at item 10, other matters, beginning with consider approval of adding a school board member to the Cannon Valley Special Education Cooperative Board. So we talked about this at our last work session, I think, with the creation of that cooperative board. We need to assign a board member to it, and we shouldn't wait until January to do so. So we need to identify somebody this evening to serve on that board. As we all look around the table at the obvious choice,
Nothing's obvious.
I'll just ask Mr. Robichaud if you have an interest in serving on that board, or if you'd prefer us to have a discussion of somebody else.
Well, I
on
would
that
be
committee.
interested in serving on the Cannon Valley Educational Cooperative, because it's just kind of deja vu all over again.
Are there any other suggestions or discussions of that? I think, speaking for myself, Mr. Robichaud's extensive experience working with special education, working in our district, make him, to my mind, a perfect choice on that. No, all joking aside, I think he would be a fantastic choice to represent us. Is there any further suggestions for that? I'll entertain a motion to approve Jerry Robichaud to be the school board member appointed to the Cannon Valley Special Education Cooperative Board.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that item? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And thank you, Jerry, thank you, Jerry, very much for being willing to do that. I think your expertise will be of a particular value to that board
I
as they get
will
started.
try to represent this board very competently.
Thank you very much. That brings us then to item 10B, consider approval of the Superintendent Todd Sesker's 2015 evaluation. We discussed this item in the closed meeting, and from that proposed that we bring this evaluation forward. So you can see the evaluation as described in front of you. I don't think I want to read the whole thing, but I'll read the summary. In summary, the Board of Education remains very proud of the work Todd has done as a leader of our school district. We look forward to the next year with his skills at the helm of the Faribault Public Schools. So there are some suggestions for areas of growth for Todd, but on the whole was a very positive evaluation. So this is the public portion of that evaluation. I'll entertain a motion to approve this evaluation.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Todd Sesker's 2015 evaluation as presented. Any further discussion?
I would just like to add, Mr. Chair, that this is the second evaluation I think I've seen when I've been on the board, and I'm always impressed by the staff input. The majority of the staff input is always very positive about Mr. Sesker, your leadership and your involvement at the school, so it's always a great thing to see.
Thanks.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you all very much. Which brings us to item 10C, consider approval of individual employment contracts. I don't know if we want Nicole to come up and tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, you certainly can ask her. We stayed within the parameters of what the board had suggested, so if you have questions, feel free to call her up.
What's the average 2-year settlement?
Are you asking for dollars or percents, Ms. Rose? Do you want?
Just a 2-year percentage over 2 years.
Oh, the percent.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
So the percent for all of these groups, with the exception of 2, ended up at 8.59% over 2 years.
And what do we have budgeted again?
For the first year, so for 15-16, this year the budgeted amount was 3%, and for 16-17, that amount has not yet been determined.
Chances are it could be 3.
That's, I believe
It's
that's
easier to
what the
budget
board
when we know what the
decides.
amount is. We didn't in the last budget, so. Yeah, and it looks like the 2 that are not, the numbers I'm seeing, there's one here of 8.32. So it doesn't look like those that strayed from that number you quoted strayed very far. Is that fair to say? I don't see any that are significantly different. Am I incorrect in that?
That's correct. There was one at 8.32, one at 8.57, and a third one that was at 8.568.
So they're all very close. Okay.
And that's over a 2-year.
Yes, that's correct.
Any more questions for Nicole? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the individual employment contracts for 2015 to 17.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mr. Clerk, would you please do a roll call?
Yes, it's 10C, right?
Yep.
10. Tom,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
Yvette,
Aye.
myself, no, Jerry,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Chad,
Aye.
Mr. Chair, it passes 6-1.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. And this then brings us back to item 8B3, which we tabled until this time, which is the final 2015 payable 2016 levy certification. I don't see an attachment for that item, I don't think.
There should
This
be
one
one.
here.
Am I missing it? Why is it not jumping to it when I click on it? I'm clicking on the
Back
wrong
the other
thing,
way.
that's why. Never mind.
Yep.
I'll get there, give me a second, sorry. My apologies.
It's right after the finance committee.
Yes. Finance. There we go, okay. So we have those in front of us, and the details were presented by Colleen in a previous presentation. Does this need to have a roll call associated with it? I don't see any, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the final 2015 payable 2016 levy certification.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Great, and this brings us then to item 11, other items of information. Beginning with our esteemed student representative, any items for the board this evening?
We can tell that finals are starting to come up. Everybody's got them on their minds already. And Christmas break, everybody's getting excited for that. With student council, we've got our Toys for Tots fundraiser. We're going shopping on Monday the 21st, I think that's this coming Monday. Our goal is gonna be 10,000 this year. Again, has been that much for a couple years now. So hopefully we'll make the goal.
Great, outstanding. Yeah, thank you very much. And that brings us then into items of information for school board members. Do we have any this evening? Yes, please.
There was two this past weekend. What's the last? Yes, it was,
Delegate,
not this past weekend.
the weekend before.
Weekend before, thank you. That it was the delegate assembly, which we voted on some resolutions. The two that they're still gonna pursue is, what was the first one?
The inflationary,
The inflationary factor and in the unfunded mandates. However, I think, next year, I think instead of a shotgun approach, I think this board should pick maybe 2 or 3 instead of a shotgun.
Didn't we do
approach.
3 this year?
No, unfunded mandates
Oh, I see.
specifically.
Okay, I
Yeah,
understand.
so anything
Okay.
that the board decides, instead of, just scope it.
Narrow in on special education.
Whatever,
Or whatever.
that's whatever.
Yeah.
And then, our special education failed, but we did
Mental.
what?
the mental,
The
mental
mental.
health, mental health. yeah.
Right, mental health,
Yep.
but we did rewrite it, and of course, it's gonna pass next year because it was really a close vote. Because they didn't have time to research it, because we did change it with Todd and Rob.
Yep.
It was just not enough time for them to vet it, so, but a lot of board members came up to me and says, just bring it back next year, it'll go through, so. Other than that, all the stuff we presented March. And it's very short, it's very, 10 weeks I've been told.
Yep, gonna be a quick session.
Very, so they're gonna be very intense, they're gonna work.
Yes, money.
We'll see.
Big surplus.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Thanks,
I have my
Richard.
skepticism, but thank you very much, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Any other items from school board members?
Can I just ask a question? Todd, with President Obama putting the kibosh to the No Child Left Behind and the new program and whatnot, what does that mean for us, and is it way too early to tell as parents approach us and say, hey, what does this mean? Do we know what it means yet in terms of testing and all that type of stuff, or way too early?
It's way too early. It does mean that there is local control now. The state has more control over what they quantify as being the test. And so it's still, I think just stay tuned. It's gonna take a little bit of time for those committees up at the State Department to figure out exactly what sort of accountability system they want to have. Accountability is still within that law, so you just have to keep that in mind. We're still gonna be required to test grades 3 through 8 somehow, and also one test in the high school. So, stay tuned, it's still pretty early.
Okay, thank you.
Let's hope we see a difference.
Yeah, I agree. I hope we do.
Any other questions, any other items of information? Superintendent Sesford.
There was a great band concert last Monday night, if you got a chance to go. Great job. And there's also a choir concert tonight at 7 o'clock, and I see I might actually make this one, so this is good. I did go to the C meeting last week on Friday, and very good meeting. The Speaker of the House spoke there, and people asked him about the universal preschool program, and he said that is a dead issue. That will not happen. So that came from the Speaker of the House, so we'll see how long the session goes now. Right?
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to do a presentation at the University of Wisconsin Stout. My wife and I were invited. My wife's a first grade teacher, and then me as administrator, we were able to present to a couple classes at the university. So it was kind of fun to go out there and do a little presentation about both those different perspectives for students getting into education. I also went to the Minnesota State Academy for the Blind holiday concert, and I went to Luther's Christmas concert. I've been to St. Olaf's Christmas concert, but I think this is the best concert I've ever been to. I've gone to it every year, and it's just fantastic to go to. MSAD concert is sometime this week too. I'll get that note if you guys want to go to that. We've been meeting on truancy with a group of folks. We met again this morning to talk about our processes for students who are having some truancy issues and coming up with a consistent plan in grades K through 12. And it's a great committee. It's the elementary principals, social workers, counselors from the high school and the middle school, and it's been going very well. And other than that, it's been busy, but it's been a good busy.
All right, thank you very much. This brings us to item 12, some dates to remember. Beginning with January 4th at 5:30 p.m. will be our organizational meeting, which will take place at the Faribault Middle School auditorium. January 6th at 3:30 p.m. Will be the wellness meeting at the district office. January 11th at 7:30 a.m. will be the finance meeting at the district office. January 11th at 3:30 p.m. will be the curriculum advisory committee meeting at the district office. January 12th at 4:30 p.m. will be the policy committee meeting at the district office. January 25th at 5:30 p.m. will be our regular board meeting right back here at City Hall Council Chambers. January 26th at 4 p.m. Will be our Community Ed Advisory Committee meeting at the district office. And with that, I will
just like to add one. January 14 is MSBA, at which time we'll have a luncheon and we will be able to recognize one of our own very own as a state school board member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Robichaud.
Does that mean you're attending this year?
Yes, at least for the lunch.
Well, this will be my last time adjourning a meeting for, after 4 years, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor,
Oh,
please signify.
discussion. Just want to say thank you.
There's
Thank
no
you.
discussion on this item.